apparently that ruins some of the balance. I also don't know what classes are in Palladium Fantasy first versus second, but I know like Heathen Dog hates pretty much all of the magic classes in Palladium Fantasy Second Edition. He thinks the Diabolus is worthless. It's a heavy role play class, but so I can understand his point. He thinks that the Witch is like the shifter in what do you call Rifts, where it's just it's a time bomb waiting to go off in your face because they deal with demons.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't like stuff like that. He wants things to be much more controlled. Where Kevin, when we talked to Kevin about this, Kevin and I are on the same page in this one, where it's like, no, it's a role-playing opportunity. So,
it boils down to what you want at the table, right? If you want that controlled game where everybody's working together and there's no chaos, then something like a shifter or whatever is not going to help you. But if you just like to see what happens, everybody sits down, you play your characters, go all out and see what happens, then the shifters.
I have an entire separate video just on the Diabolist for Palladium Fantasy because of our back and forth that we had over the Diabolist that I don't think went public because it was a pretty heated back and forth because I think the Diabolist is a great class. And he's like, nope, it's NPC only. If any player plays it, that player's, bad, yada, yada. It's only an NPC. And I'm like, no, I can find a lot of reasons for it. Now, it's not an in your face, here's your fireball in your face constantly. But if you have time to set up defenses, the Diabolus is absolutely amazing.
Okay, so again, I'm sorry, you guys went down a really interesting rabbit hole there, but I'm coming back to the basic point of, and if Cody, maybe or someone in the chat can explain it better, and don't just use one word. I need context because I don't know the Palladium system, so just saying SDC means nothing to me. What is the difference between first edition revised and second edition Palladium Fantasy, please?
I've never played first edition. I've never even looked at the book hardly. I mean, I've glanced at it or whatever. So I've only played. I haven't played it, but I only have second edition Palladium. Also, I have to step away for a few minutes, and I'll be back. But I'll be watching.
Thank you.
And I'll be back in a minute.
All right.
Honestly, Bear, I wish I could answer the question better myself, but I'm kind of in the same boat as Cody, where I know I played it at some point. It's just.
Okay. I want to say hi to Mike Percival and how's Ruby and Merry Christmas to you both, by the way. Okay, what do you got, Curtis?
The difference between first edition revised and second edition is the first edition revised is the one I asked for in the box.
Hey there, DK. What's up, man? What's up? Hope you're doing. How it do? Guys, I'm going to share again in the chat here the link for the backer kit interest page for Heroic. I've got my 200, and now they're still saying, well, we don't feel you have enough people that are interested, but they're not giving me a magic number anymore.
Could it just be one of those things that it's on a bot timer?
No, because the email I got now says you need 3,000 people. And I'm like, what? There's a glitch somewhere in the system on that one. But no, sorry. What to do next? We recommend that you aim for more than 4,000 people interested in your project to reach your funding goal of $5,000. I'm like, so everybody contributes 75 cents? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? So I think that might be a glitch. But it currently says I need 3,806. That's obviously wrong because when I go into it, hang on, let me go in. It says 201. Thank you, whoever just hit that. I really appreciate that of you. It says this is the total number of people in the campaign, and then it says, because I updated the score to $35 being the average of the 15, 35, and 45 that are going to be the three tiers. It says you need at least 143 backers to reach your funding goal. You have 201 people interested in your project and 199 members subscribed to you on BackerKit. And then right above that, not yet. We don't think you're ready. You do not have enough people in your community that are excited about this project. So if we add more people, and then I can go to them, and because I'll reach out to Susan or whoever it was who reached out to me, I'll be like, hi, this is what your system says. This is how many people I have. What the fuck's going on, please? And that's the one benefit of BackerKit is they assign someone to work with you, and I have someone to work with me, so I will push that with them. And if you don't feel like doing it, I completely understand, but if you can, it helps out an indie publisher. It doesn't cost you anything. Hey, Kabuki Kid. And thank you, Squirrel Hermit. I appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, there's a few people diving in on my channel at the moment.
Thank you.
For those who are diving in on my channel, you might not see all the chat from all the other channels, unfortunately. But I'll engage with you.
Okay, so we don't really have an answer other than SDC at this point and something about the magic classes, right? Oh, and magic system is different. 2E, it uses PPE, and 1E uses castings. What is PPE? Psionic potential energy?
psychic energy. Yeah.
Potential
So I guess
psychic
they
energy.
unified it with their other systems like Beyond the Supernatural and Rifts, which use the same system.
Pulley Robotics 1 Heroic is my game that's coming out in February. It's a superhero game. It's an advancement and a neo clone of essentially the old Marvel superheroes from TSR with elements of astonishing superheroes because Tim Bannock is no longer going to be publishing that. So we're bringing that over to my game, bringing it together. Tim's acting as an editor with me. And we're going to be bringing that to Backer Kit in February. And the money I'm raising is not to write the game. The game's written. The money is to pay the writers, pay the layout, and pay the artist. That's ultimately what's going on there. And maybe buy me a pizza. That would be nice if I could have a pizza after all is said and done.
So Mike Percival has a pretty, like another one that Heathen Dog doesn't like is the Elementalist for that reason. He's got a pretty good anecdotal story up there as to what can happen in Palladium Fantasy.
Who said what? Sorry, what's this?
Mike Percival, it's in your chat.
I'll scroll back. What
Yeah, you have to scroll back a little bit.
Hang on. Is this one here? A random bear showed up and killed the Elementalist, causing Earth Elemental to go wild. Between it and the bear, we all died.
I think that was the second. I think that was the second post. The one right above that starts it.
Hang on, going back. It was hilarious. I made a wolfen with shit stats who sucked at combat. There was a tree blocking our path, so the Elementalist summoned an Earth Elemental to remove it. And then we follow that up with a random bear showed up, like we do, killed the Elementalist, causing Earth Elemental to go wild. Between it and the bear, we all dies.
Wow.
Your English is awesome tonight, Mike. We all dies. Yeah, PPE is the system where you have the right to kill. You have to kill children to cast spells. What the fuck?
Well, the way it works mechanically is your potential psychic energy is doubled at the point of death. Thus, ritual magic, where there's sacrifice involved, doubles the energy that a wizard can extract from the subject. Right? And children have a high reserve of potential psychic energy because they haven't focused it into their potential.
But you can sacrifice people, but it's evil, says Malachi.
Yeah, it's an evil act, 100%.
Yes.
But mechanically, that's how it works.
Polyrobotics
escalated quickly.
Just sign up for the say that you're interested in the kicks in the backer kit when it goes live. If you want to back enough of a cost of pizza, sir, I'll be very happy to take your money. No worries at all.
The thing is PPE comes back over time, and it's not that big of a deal. But yes, I mean the thing is the elements of the game. You can do pretty much anything.
Wayne's, if we ever become friends, I'll tell you a story over a beer about my college experience, but very similar to yours, sir. Okay, moving on. I'm not saying anything more about that. Won't even tell you her name.
All I have to say about that.
I
That's
have
all
yet
I
to
got
do
to say
anything but
about
repel women for running role-playing games. So,
Yeah, well, maybe it's not the games. Love you, Sean. Okay, so are people so SDC instead of hit points? That I understand is a difference between the two, right?
So SDC is like your bumps and bruises. Hit points are your
life
hit
force.
points. It's your life. Yeah. So what second edition does is because it kind of unified with riffs and so forth is gave your character SDC. So now you are a lot more survivable than you were previously.
I don't like systems that do that. I don't know. Star Wars did that, D20 Star Wars, and it drove me nuts. You take this much damage. So I got hit by the blaster. No, it went near you. Why am I taking damage? Well, it's stress damage. What the fuck?
Vitality for Stargate. Yeah, I get it.
Give me damage or give me mist.
well, SDC is still damage. It's just your ability to shake it off. And once you're into hit points, now you're into your life force, and you're like bleeding out or near death.
Yeah. In fact, if you don't even have to lose all your hit points, and you can still suffer permanent damage, like critical injuries, so to speak. I think it's at 85% of your SDC, whatever. You can start rolling on the chart's optional rule, but you can start rolling on the chart to have permanent -1, permanent -2.
Yeah, it's effectively more hit points. It's just it's
exactly
superficial stuff. But yeah, they
Malachi,
added
you can play.
Sorry?
Malachi, you can play. I'm done fucking with your chain, dude. And Hungar, we'll talk. You gotta get out of the hospital and be healthy first, brother. Come on now. Now, here's what I fear. Here's what I fear about running the Palladium game. I don't know it well. I don't have system mastery of it, and therefore I would feel it might be a bit of a shit show, and that would be embarrassing.
Well, what do you mean by a shit show? Because here's what I'll say. Everybody I know has house rules for the game. I don't know anybody who plays it rules as written. So my assumption, and I've been watching some Rifts Let's Plays, my assumption would be people would just think like, oh, you've got a house rule for that.
Problem is, before you start house ruling, you need to have some degree of system mastery. and sort of experience with how the rules work. So if Bear
roll a
hasn't got
d20
that
for combat, roll percentile dice for skills. Okay, there you go. Got the master.
Yeah, Palladium is not a.
is that how simple it is?
It
I mean,
really is easy.
I've never even seen a Palladium book.
You roll a d20 to attack. If you roll a 5 or higher, you hit. Armor will change that, but generally speaking, roll 5 or higher, you hit. And the defensive abilities for on the target are their own. So like you might declare, I'm parrying that attack, in which case you got to beat his roll and you'll have your bonus to parry. And I can't remember if Palladium does this, but or Palladium Fantasy does it, but the other ones do, whereas most people who are combat trained have automatic parry in that it doesn't eat up one of your attacks, right? Whereas dodging, getting out of the way, does eat up an attack. Very few classes have an automatic dodge, because you'll have, say, 3 attacks in a round, and then, all right, you can parry an unlimited number of
That's
attacks.
another one. Characters in Palladium Fantasy only have 2 or 3 actions per round, where it starts at 4 for 2nd edition.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because like in Rifts or the other games, you get usually at 4 or 5.
Yeah, that's after the game's converted over to, they call it Riftifying it, but yeah. But in the original Palladium Fantasy, you
only get the
2.
1 or 2. Yeah.
So, and that's one of the things I love about the system is that action reaction. So I roll to attack because people be like, so what? I have to roll a 5. I've got modifiers that are higher than a 5. Like, right? That means you pretty much are guaranteed to hit. But I also get to roll to parry or dodge or entangle.
If I have plus 10 to parry, you're gonna have a hard time hitting me.
Exactly.
Okay.
And dodge is different, and automatic dodge is exceedingly rare, but usually your bonus to dodge is higher than your bonus to parry, and it will get you out of danger, but it eats up one of your actions.
John, I just sent you something on Discord. Curtis, I just got to find you. I'm going to send you something as well.
Okay.
Now I should offer the caveat that my Palladium knowledge is 30 years old. I haven't played in almost 30 years, so
dude, your 30-year-old knowledge I'll put more money on than someone else's 30-minute-old knowledge. 30-minute old knowledge. That is a legit. You have a mind for system that I really respect, and therefore, if you're telling me something, I'm going to listen. Even though if you make a mistake and we'll have to correct it later, I trust your basic knowledge really a lot, John.
It's
so
funny
for
because,
sorry.
I was going to say Palladium. It's Palladium that actually gave me the grasp of 1st edition combat and the way you're supposed to spread out attacks. So I remember a friend of mine, we were running Rifts. He had a Bearman of the North, and if you know the Bearmen, they get like 2 bonus attacks. So he had 8 attacks per round at one point, and everybody else was limited to their 2 or 3. And it was like, okay, how do we do this? Because it didn't make sense that somebody would get 10 attacks and somebody else goes. So I learned to spread them out, right? And that's how you're supposed to do it in AD&D. So that just a little sidebar of my mental processes.
I would like to respond to Mr. Mex. Says, so if you stand there, you do nothing, you get it. Right. And if you're out of attacks, you're slower than the other opponent. It's like Bruce Lee fighting, me. He would probably punch me 15 times before I'd be like, So yeah, I mean, it makes sense to have that. So you have to play a little more tactically. You have to hope your armor holds up. You want to use positioning. You want to go 2-on-1. But yeah, he with the most actions tends to win, because I always have that extra dodge that you're not going to have.
Mm-hmm. Palladium has another option that almost never gets used, but I think advanced players will do it, and that's the ability to roll with punches.
Oh yeah.
You can do that if you take a hit. If somebody breaches your defense, you can say, well, I want to sacrifice one of my actions to roll with the attack, and then you can reduce the damage.
I don't think it takes an action, though.
I remember that in Robotech, actually.
Thought it took an action, because you're reducing your damage.
Okay. All right. Hang on, you two. Curtis has a question. Go ahead, Curtis.
I actually just wanted to say it's about that time for me to hit the hay. So
all right, man.
Wish all of you have Merry Christmas, and thank you all very much.
Are you working tonight?
No, I'm not
You're
working
in the morning, though. You're back to work tomorrow?
No, I don't go back to work till Wednesday.
Oh, well, then don't be a little girl. Stay up late.
Okay, well, I'll need to use the restroom first, so I'll be right back.
No, go ahead, man. Get your rest. Don't let me bully you into not getting sleep, man.
Okay.
But yeah, thanks for hanging out, Curtis. You were here most of the day, and I really appreciate it, man. Thanks so much.
Absolutely.
And thanks for streaming it on your channel as well, by the way.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for hosting. You all have a good night.
You too.
Don't forget to turn off your simulcast.
Oh, yeah. How do I do that?
Click end simulcast or whatever it is. I don't know. I can turn it off for you. Go. I'll turn it
Okay.
off for
All
you.
right. Okay. All right. You all have a good night.
Bye now.
Yeah, polyrobotics. I know any character can roll. I can't remember if it's automatic or it uses up your action. I always assumed it used an action.
To be honest, I don't remember, and some of the games change. So I don't know, like Palladium Fantasy, especially since you're talking first edition Palladium Fantasy.
Somehow
Yeah.
turning off Curtis's stream kicked me out of StreamYard.
Nice.
That happened whenever you.
And I pay for this shit, StreamYard. Sorry.
When you turned off Janet's, it did the same thing. I thought.
Did it? Maybe. It was hours ago. I don't remember. I'm fucking brain dead right now. Anyway, so what were we talking about? Sorry, what were
Getting
you...
a lot of corrections, guys that are correcting everybody, and we're talking generalities here. Yes, we know auto dodge. Also, auto dodge doesn't allow your bonuses that you would normally have to dodge. Yada yada. We're just trying to be nice to Bear and give him generalities. Just I'm not going to correct Sean on everything, and hopefully he's not correcting me on everything.
This
Just
is why I
Yeah,
need
polyrobotics
to-
saying that it does. So I'll
does use an action. Okay.
I'll defer to other people's who are more fresh with Palladium.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's been 30 years, but
How you feeling there, Yog? You keeping up? You okay, man?
I'm fine.
Isn't it pumpkin hour for you now?
he's got an
It's,
hour.
it's 11:15, so it's been a long old day.
Okay, just making sure you're all right, man.
I'm just chilling. I've got a cup of tea here just to keep me
Excellent.
somewhat alert.
Okay, so let's get back to the basis of the conversation. And now, Bruce, you were about to say something. Sorry, what were you saying, Bruce?
I was just going to say, like, there's another fantasy system I really like called Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay.
Nope.
Never mind.
I played the fuck out of that in college. I'm never playing it again. Fuck that shit. Rat catching sucks.
I love the Rat Catcher. One of my favorite classes.
Mm-hmm.
I hear that's the broken one though, because that can turn into like literally every other class in the game or something.
In time, yes. If you
Yeah, see,
laugh.
that's
Second
second
edition,
edition.
though. Yeah, that is second edition. I gotta say, I don't have the 1E or 1E revised. So
It's got the Dragonlance cover.
Yeah, I'm only
Yeah.
getting my first edition back from Pat. The 30th, he's coming into town, so he gets the BRP and I get the Palladium. It's like, throw me the idol, hand me the idol, I throw you the whip. You know, it's that kind of situation.
I got the BRP right here.
Yeah, I'm getting rid of mine. I'm trading it off
Yeah.
for the Palladium hardcover back. So I'm probably going to run 1E though, because 1E revised, because that's the book I'll have, right? And it's just
Yeah.
easier that way. And all
You'll probably
horseshit
find it
aside-
easier to run as well because it won't have all the additional complicated stuff that was thrown in over time. I just like the casting. I have no clue how spell casting works in first edition. I know it's different. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a conversion book for it or something where you can say, hey, this is how spellcasting, you can port it over, or is it not compatible enough between the two? That'd be the question I'd be asking the chat right now, since you guys seem to know a lot about it. How hard is it to take elements of the 2E to put into replace elements of the 1E revised? That should be an interesting answer.
I wouldn't imagine it'd be too difficult because the Palladium Fantasy is still in a lot of ways aligned with the other Palladium games.
Mm-hmm.
So, like they use the skill system. The combat system is pretty much identical, if I remember correctly. So I don't think it'd be too difficult at all.
The xenomorph is back. Yeah, exactly. Out of the shadows comes Dogman. Super easy to combine 1 and 2E, says Shadow and Sun. Okay, explain why. Again, guys, I love you. You're fantastic, but just saying a couple of words doesn't help me because I have no system knowledge to understand or interpret what you're saying. So if you can be a little more contextual, a little more robust, I'll appreciate it. Guys, keep the chat going. I need more coffee. I'm going to pass out, so I'll be right back. Oh shit!
Again,
Wait,
because
wait.
I haven't
Hang
played Palladium Fantasy,
on.
and
Sean,
you know,
hang on.
Sorry?
Yog, Bruce, Boivin, Liao. All right, Sean, you're in charge while I'm gone, man, because you're the only one I can trust not to burn the house down.
oh, I wouldn't put too much trust in me.
Well, let me go get my lighter.
Have you
Yeah,
looked at the other 4? Come on.
I don't think 2E, from what I've read, is that much of a departure from the core mechanics. Like even D&D 1E to 2E is probably a bigger departure from one another than Palladium 1E to 2E. I think Palladium 2E, just as you were saying, Max, just aligned more with the other games, which were already more had more in common. Basic or fantasy Palladium was sort of an outlier in that it was somewhat different. Mechanically it was the same, but the bonuses, like we were talking about attacks, you only got like 1 or 2 attacks in basic Palladium first E, whereas 1E you get the extra attacks that the other systems
So I
have.
wonder if that STC bonus really matters, because if you're getting double the attacks,
the attacks, it's going to disappear real fast.
Yeah.
Soon. Yeah.
I wish my knowledge of 1E was better, but it's not. I don't own any of the 1E books, not, at least not for Palladium Fantasy. I have Heroes Unlimited First Edition, the old TMNT, and the Robotech, but again, those all play a bit differently.
They play a little differently. Yeah, that was the thing for me. I played Heroes Unlimited to death. I played Rifts to death. We played plenty. I can't speak. My mouth isn't working. We played Palladium Fantasy only a couple of times, but I remember like it wasn't a big leap. You know, the core mechanics were identical. It was just a couple of little nuances that were easily adjusted.
The hardest part to me about any Palladium game really, well, it comes down to book layout, but it also comes down to you're going to find that a lot of powers and a lot of skills aren't things you can do in an action, and people are used to being able to do everything in an action. It's like, no, this takes 5 minutes for you to do this. You've got to prepare. It takes, pardon me, I'm not using Palladium Fantasy here because I don't know the skill list there, but how long does it take you to program to hack into a security system? That isn't going to be 2 of your actions. That's going to be something that takes a couple of minutes. So there are going to be things that are going on around you. And
what do you mean I can't rewrite an entire computer code in 6 seconds?
Right? Even in the 15 seconds of Palladium. With that, other than that, and then the modifiers, because sometimes people get really, really pedantic about the modifiers that they're supposed to have. And this is something I've actually pushed back on my players on. I don't care. Hold on. I'm sure I get an extra +1 if I'm laying down. I don't care. What does it say on your sheet? I get a +5. Okay, I'll give you a +1 for laying down and shooting, but it's really supposed to be a +2. Fuck off. It's +1. Roll your dice and get GTFO. I really hate that's something I find about Palladium players and Pathfinder players. They're trying to squeeze every modifier. It's like, well, it doesn't make sense for me to do this because I get a +3 instead of a +1. And Kevin will be like, look, you should be playing naturally. Again, using my words for what I took from him, you should be role playing, not worrying about the numbers. And what people tell me is that first edition keeps those numbers a little lower. I don't know if that's true or not. So people worry about them a little less. My experience with Palladium Fantasy was I got somebody really, really, really angry with me because he was a paladin and I was an evil priest, and I brought him back as a zombie when he died. He was to this day, he is still pissed off at me. And that was like 20 years ago.
We needed you to carry the gear. That's what we needed you for.
I used him to go fight for us. So why was I going to put myself in the line of fire?
That's a player that needs a reminder that it's a game and you're playing a character, not to take it personally.
Yeah, his next character was an assassin who he decided on his own was out to kill me. Mm-hmm. Game Master never said that. Like, okay, but anyway, the game's got a lot of opportunity. Where Heathen Dog, because I think Heathen Dog just wants a more, I don't want to call it static game, but a more controlled game. Mm-hmm. I disagree. I love the random charts. That's one of my favorite things from Palladium, is just rolling up random animals and TMNT, or I like the randomness of it. And then, there's a Diabolist in here. We're going to have to plan. If you want the Diabolist to be worth the salt, we're going to have to plan. If you're going to have a witch or you're going to have an elementalist in there, that elemental or that demon or whatever might run amok. That's something you have to account for. But for the most part, they can do their jobs. Every now and again, you're going to have a little extra. The psychics, I don't know how first edition handles psionics versus second edition, but psionics are less powerful than magic. But magic, you can only cast a maximum of 2, and these are low-level spells. You can only cast 2 low-level spells per round, where you can only cast 1 moderate-level spells, and if I remember correctly, a high-level spell takes 2 rounds to cast.
Okay, so I'm eating, so that's my camera's off, not to offend Mr. Liao, and I'm going to mute myself as I'm chewing. But I wanted to point something out, boys. Notice how much more the chat exploded when we started talking about Palladium Fantasy all of a sudden versus when we were discussing D&D editions? That's telling. That's shocking, but cool, don't you think?
It's a conversation.
Yeah, but it's a lively conversation. Well done. Keep going.
So D&D.
Is there Beck Me Palladium?
Yeah, Palladium Beck Me.
They need a fucking encyclopedia.
Well, welcome back.
That's how that works, son.
Oh, I thought that happened.
Cody's back too.
That's the second edition book, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, I actually asked Kevin about that. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I asked Kevin. I said, "Were you reading Dragonlance at the time when somebody made that cover?" And he's like, "What?" Like that cover. Anybody who's read Dragonlance, if you hold that cover, if Cody, if you can hold that cover up, anybody who's read Dragonlance Chronicles will recognize that scene. That is Cyan Bloodbane behind the Sylvan. I forget the dude's name, but the Sylvanesti elf who's using the dragon orb.
One question I've got about Palladium, one thing that really put me off about the third edition sort of genre of D&D is that it presented you with tons and tons and tons of options and character builds. I fucking hate that term. But a lot of them were trap options. A lot of them proved to be very, very weak.
Can you give an example?
With others. In third edition. No.
But I mean, for Palladium, can you give an example? Like
I can't because I know nothing about Palladium. This is when we're asking a question. Does Palladium have that sort of progression, that annoying feat progression that for me ruined third edition?
If you have a bad game master.
Yeah.
If you have a bad game master, right? Okay.
It also.
Sorry.
No, I was just going to say it depends on what Palladium game you're playing. So, like Rifts does have a lot of imbalance in the game. It's Palladium games are not balanced with each other at all. So you
exactly
have
what I was going to say. Yep.
It's not so much the balance. I don't need the balance. It's just that third edition felt like there was tons and tons of options, but so many of them were designed to sync with other ones.
So, Cody, you played Rifts, right? So okay, and Sean, what are your thoughts on the Vagabond?
I love those classes, the adventure classes. Actually, my favorite character I ever played was a Wilderness Scout.
So what I'm told is that if you're not playing the Rogue Scholar, you're playing the wrong one because everyone sucks compared to it.
I don't know about that. I mean, like when you're playing Rifts, I never really cared about like. I don't know if you're playing Palladium. I never really cared about like the strength of what character class over the other one because like they're obviously way disproportionate of each other. Like a Glitter Boy is like way better than our Juicer.
Only when he's in his armor.
Right. But like a Juicer is just way better than a Vagabond or whatever.
Juicer gets the automatic dodge.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. But it's just what you want to play in the game, and it can be a really fun and interesting experience playing those kind of characters.
Yeah,
it's really fun to play like the Wilderness Scout, and then have the Glitter Boy and the Juicer in the same party, right? Like that could be a really fun and interesting role playing experience, and it was when I played it.
Yeah, power gamers will look at the imbalance and go, "This game is horribly put together."
Yeah.
But yeah, if you look at it from a character perspective. You're all good. Now, the other thing about Palladium characters, now I don't know about Palladium Fantasy as much, but most Palladium games, the characters are top loaded. So you get most of your abilities and powers right off the bat, and any increase is fairly marginal. It's still worth leveling up, but you've got your abilities pretty much from the get-go. You'll get.
Does first edition give skills per level? Because I know like TMNT didn't. I know second edition stuff does, but I'm wondering if the first edition Palladium game gives you additional secondary skills or OCC related skills like at levels 2, 4, 9, whatever. Because a lot of the older games did not do that.
OCC, occupational character class, RCC, racial character class?
Yes.
You don't mix the two. They're either one or the other, right?
Yes.
There's none of the irritating planning characters 5 levels ahead or anything like that.
Oh, God, no.
No, not at the level of
that. I remember.
You might say, you know what? When I get to level 3, I'm going to take boxing as a skill. But
that was a big problem with third edition. I say that's what I really meant with all them sort of feat trees and whatever. Where you're deciding what you're going to be at 10th level when you're at first level and trying to plan for it all. I hate that. So
boxing is something that I kind of I frown upon in my games, where it's like if it doesn't make sense, I'm not going to let you take boxing, gymnastics, and acrobatics. Yeah, because boxing gives you an extra attack. So amazingly, every single person, even the nerd over there, knows how to box. It's so weird.
Well, I don't know, man. Is it weird? If you were to go like in a life of adventure, wouldn't you learn how to box a bit?
But not all the classes are adventurers. Yeah, but they all have access to the boxing skill, right?
And you've got 3 nerds here who've got fighting skills. at
Okay,
least.
but that's
And
hand-to-hand, basic hand-to-hand, expert hand-to-hand martial arts. That's not boxing. Boxing
I don't know.
goes on
Martial
top
art.
of all of that.
Yeah, boxing stacks with the other abilities. It's a skill, not a
That's
combat system.
stupid.
And so the way I do it, and Heathen Dog, again, we've had discussions about this on streams, is I allow the boxing skill to give you an extra attack when you're fist fighting or with melee weapon. I don't allow it with ranged combat, rifles, or whatever else.
Yeah.
And
That's weird.
but the rules of the game, it's just an extra attack. It doesn't say only for melee.
Okay, that's weird.
Dumb. That's
Well, it's-
dumb. I can box. Give me that bow and arrow. I'm gonna show you some shit.
Well, the way Heathen Dog mentions it, he's like, well, because you're a fighter, you just have higher reactions. You get more. You can get
That's
more
stupid.
things done.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to disparage Heathen Dog's remarks. I don't know him, so I'll just say that seems silly to me.
But he is right by the letter of the law.
I have a question because you're talking about like the Vagabond in Rift, right? And that raised a question for me because I might be in a one shot. I'm supposed to be in a Rift one shot soon. I'm probably gonna play Juicer or some shit like that.
Why does that not surprise me? You should play it crazy.
Oh, maybe. But the thing is, like, I always like play like
boy.
staller, right? I always like play a character that stall a lot, make plans, stuff like that. Like I tend to do that. So I want to play like somebody who's getting more like action oriented, right? But anyway, that's beside the point. But like it always like seems like when I hear about Rift, like there's like those core class, like the Juicer, the Crazies, the Glitter Boy, and stuff like that. And then you have like those other class, like Vagabond and Scholar and shit like that. That seem to be like almost like is there like 2 tier of class? Like one or like 4?
3 tiers, 4 tiers, 4 tiers. There's combat, there's magic, there's psionic, and there's the what they're called, the adventure. I think they're called adventure classes, right?
They're all skill based. Yeah.
Yeah, which are really skill based. If you have a bad game master that lets you use your Borg that has like 6 skills total, ask me how I know. I play lots of Borgs. And have you doing all the stuff that a rogue scholar can do, then you have a bad game master. Like it is really a game master centric game in terms of handling that properly. Now that doesn't mean that puts a lot of effort on the game master. The game master just has to not let the players run roughshod. What are your skills? If you have these skills, that's what you can do. Oh, you need to hire somebody that can hack into something. You need to hire somebody that can do the wilderness scout for you. Well, maybe that's what you have to do because you don't have the skills for that. And I promise you, you're a 2-ton stomping Borg walking out there. People are going to notice you.
But is it like is it assumed that you're gonna have like some of each in your party, or is it assumed like, well, we're gonna play like what this
All
kind of
and
tier
how you
of,
want to do it.
Yeah,
That's
because,
the
like, I
beauty
know,
of
like,
it.
Like if you take an example of like the Warhammer Blood and what is the fucking name? Blood and can I concentrate? Blood and Glory.
Blood and
Guts
urine.
Glory. What? Whatever. The for Warhammer Guts and Glory. No, I know that's something else. They all have fucking similar name. Anyway, like they have like those tier of game. Like, well, you can play a space marine, but you can always play like those kind of power level character, or you can play just Imperial Guard, but you're gonna play like this kind of power level character. Otherwise, you're gonna be like, wait.
If that's the type of game that your game master is running, then cater to that. If your game master is open to whatever you guys do, I would tell you, the idea of a vagabond to handle city negotiations, or the idea of a rogue scholar to find out stuff for us, or that please give me a doc. I want a cyber doc. For the love of God, I want a cyber doc in the group. To get you the information, your limited wilderness survival skill of 27% starting at first level. Good luck, buddy.
Yeah, because the Vagabond is a class that would appeal to me. Like from when I hear you talk about it with your and stuff like that. But I'm trying to like now want to do something different. As kind of, like I'll be a staller again if I go there that way.
But Max, Monsieur Boivin, what about trying Palladium Fantasy?
Well, like I'm planning on to too. Like I'm just like now, like I have this planned already. Like I'm already with a group that's gonna do like the Rift game. But I'd like to.
Some boys just don't take the hint when you invite them to the prom.
You have to show your panty in my face.
Okay, let me go get my panties and throw them in your face. I'm saying, would you like to join us for the Palladium Fantasy game we'll do?
Yeah, sure, man. That's a nice.
I'll take up to 6 players on that one. I think 6 players would be fun and chaotic. So Hungar, Curtis, John, if we can work it out with you, Yog, Cody, Malachi, and maybe Monsieur Boivin.
Yeah, well, we like fucking Liao need to fucking get on a game sometime.
He doesn't want to play online. He doesn't like
No,
online.
I'll
need to
play.
be
play.
like, get
I've
his
played
spin-
Oh,
online.
now you want to
I'm
play?
in a Rifts game, right?
Oh.
Did you hear me say I was in a Rifts game? But no, I'm not going to take somebody else's spot. But my issue isn't playing online. I don't like it as much, but it's I won't run a game online, and it's about my time. It's like that's what I have to be careful of.
Yeah, like
But other than that, I'd be very
interested.
interested. Yeah.
Yeah, timing is going to be the issue. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's literally going to come
Well,
down to finding a time that we can all do it, and then whoever can't do it, well, SOL at that point in time, because this suits the majority, right? So I would probably say for me, I would propose a Sunday evening or Sunday afternoon into evening, because that seems to be the least of us all streaming.
Excellent.
type thing.
I'm out.
Well, what do you do on Sundays?
I have my Sunday. I have my Sunday stream, and then I have all the crap I have to do afterward. But that's fine. I'm
Sundays probably rules me out as well because I work on Sundays.
Oh, okay. Well, what if I say Saturday?
Saturday is good for me.
John does a lot of gaming on Saturdays on his own, show.
But it depends whether it's weekly or bi-weekly and
monthly.
Monthly. I could shift one of my OSE game to monthly because we've already got 2 OSE games on a Saturday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
So I could that could be worked around. That could be worked around.
Cody.
That would work for me, but I run a game every other Sunday.
Saturday. We're saying Saturday. Saturday now. Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday would be fine too, even though I would like a bit of a break. So if it's on the alternate week, that would be preferable to me. But
it would be right now. It'd be once a month.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
once a month. Fuck it. I can pull that.
And you want to do something a little bit longer than just 2 hours?
Yeah, more than that's why we do it once a month. We'd get a 4 to 6 hour game in. Make it something special. So that way we come back
that'd be
next month.
lovely for me.
Okay, John, that appeals to you. Okay.
Yeah,
Mr.
certainly
Liao?
appeals. Yeah, I'd have to wangle it. But yeah.
Saturday, if it's once a month, it's just not enough gaming for me. But I'll do it.
All right.
I want my weekly 8-hour session. Damn it.
Well, you keep complaining about your fucking time, motherfucker.
No, I know.
I want a weekly 8-hour game, but I'm booked solid, so I can't play.
Saturday's the one day I could do it, except for none of the yard work could get done, and my wife would yell at me. So I can handle that once a month.
So when your dog is,
dude, it's raining outside. My grass is green. What do you want?
Alabama, there's always yard work. There's never
non-yard
Mexican
work
around.
Sorry.
That looks like another seat in the game just opened up. Sean, I would invite you, but I know you're busy as fuck.
Generally, but and I'm already in one of your games. I don't
You're
want
also in the Star Trek game, so
Yeah.
But then I could say the same about Cody, but I won't because it's Cody, and we all know I'm in love with Cody.
Well, Cody suggested the Palladium.
And Cody,
I'm
Cody
not
and I
as-
have our bromance. I mean, really, at the end of the day, it's our bromance.
I'm not as hopped up on Palladium. If you were
All
ready
right,
to
so
play
right now
me-
we're saying John, Max, Cody, Curtis, Malachi. That's what we're saying for sure. That's 6. 7 would be an insane thing, dude. I don't know. We'll have to see, but I would say.
Well, I'm sure also like there'll be like some conflict in the schedule and shit like that popping up.
I would suggest, even though this is first edition, I like bigger groups, especially for Palladium. But if you haven't done it before, I think 6 is a good cap to start. Yeah, and then until you get used to it. I don't have a first edition revised book. I will try to get my hands on one, and then.
You don't have. You don't have really.
I don't. Well, I want a physical copy because I don't like PDFs unless I have to. So.
Well, that's true. That's very true.
You can still get.
I can get it.
Somebody, maybe it's somebody that can hook us up.
Maybe it'll be my Christmas surprise package on Monday, even though I didn't request it at all.
Like a little
tomorrow.
sponsorship there, Sean.
Sean, are you watching? I need a book.
Ooh, you know what though? That wouldn't be a bad idea to reach out to Sean and say, "Hey, man, we'd like to do an officially sponsored game."
But if we
Especially
do
if we're all
stream it.
Edition.
Plus, we're streaming it on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 channels.
Yeah.
Malachi's got a channel coming. That's 6, and Curtis has a channel. That's 7. Just saying.
Is
And
that
now the pressure's on me to be a fucking good goddamn GM.
Can't
You know,
read.
like
Absolutely.
okay, you go into the tavern and there's an elf girl and she wants to
I
have
want to
sex with
do
you.
her.
She wants to do you too. Roll for penis size. You know, so.
Glenn.
Hey, who's got the
Hey,
Mountain
Glenn.
Dew?
Is there any girls there? I want to do. Hit up Noble Knight 15. Okay. Well, I was
You
just
know,
gonna check the Palladium site because I don't. Isn't that red cover? You're talking the red cover foil book, whatever, right?
Yeah, that's the one I have, the hardcover red foil.
I don't have a problem giving Palladium my money.
It's a beautiful book, to be honest. Like, I miss it on my shelf. It was so funny because Pat, he helped me out with the sale I did, right? That some of you took advantage of. And what I said to Pat, I said, "Hey Pat, did you after we met Sean, I'm like, did you sell that Palladium book?" And he's like, "Oh, you want it back, do you?" And I'm like, "Maybe." He goes, "Yeah, I kind of thought you did, so I put it to the side." And I'm like, "You fucker, you son of a bitch." I was all right. Let's go through my collection. What do you want as a trade? And he's like, "I'll take that BRP." I'm like, "Okay, done deal." Because I will never run BRP again in my life. I'm sadly disappointed with it. So I'm like, okay, let's go somewhere else, you know?
You know, that's what I've been
BRP,
reading,
what's that again?
Basic role playing Chaosium.
Oh, okay.
You know, like
After
you know,
here's
I
why.
love,
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Mr. Max.
I was saying, like, you know, I love Pendragon and I quite like Call of Cthulhu. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna get a fucking BRP, like, and I'm reading through it now, and I'm kind of disappointed by it as well because I found like Call of Cthulhu took BRP, made their own thing, made it good. Pendragon take BRP, made their own thing, changed it a lot. It's basically a different thing now. And
Yeah.
it's even much better. But like now that BRP is just like, man, you make those
It's so
choices,
boring.
like,
It's so
fucking
bland.
clunky. Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
there's like those clunky rules that that's
Yeah.
fucking insane. I'm not a fucking.
And then you look at everything Design Imperative did with Mithras, and then they're the classic fantasy where they tried to bring the D&D style to BRP. You look at all the innovations those other games have done, and they went back to fucking RuneQuest Second Edition as their default stance. And it's like, man, that's boring, you know? And I feel bad about that because they're nice guys and they make good product, but it's just like the BRP Magic World. I don't know who got my Magic World stuff. Someone got my Magic World stuff. Magic World was a great thing because it was based on the Stormbringer, the original Stormbringer game. You guys ever play Stormbringer back in the 80s?
Yes, I did.
Good. It was
Played a
so
priest to
good.
Kakadal.
I played a Chaos wizard from Pantang. All right.
Okay.
And I was constantly like my whole thing was, what the fuck can I bind to this fucking armor? What the fuck can I bind to this sword? That's all I did all the time. It was so much fun.
It's funny because I was doing the same thing. Just I was doing the fire elementals because of I was just Kakadal or Kakatal or however I'm supposed to pronounce it.
But it was a great game. And Magic World was that with the serial numbers filed off. So they just took out the words Elric and Stormbringer and just put generic fantasy terms. And then BRP is so fucking boring. It's so bloody boring. And it's like, you know, like you're surviving on a crowd that is remembering your product. You're not developing a new audience right now. And that's one of their big fall downs, right? Call of Cthulhu brings people in, and then people go to the BRP game, and it's not the same system as Call of Cthulhu, which is advanced as of the 7th edition. John, you can certainly talk about that, right?
I've only just sat down to go to the toilet.
Call of Cthulhu, man.
I can talk about Call of Cthulhu. Yeah. What about it?
So you play 7th edition, right?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay. You like it?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay. Why in the name of God would the new edition of Basic Role Playing, their generic rule book, not use those rules?
Stupidity.
There you go. There you go. All right. It's fear of alienating a bunch of 60-year-olds. That's ultimately what I think it is. Their fear of alienating this crowd that's been with them from the word go. But look at those Call of Cthulhu numbers on what you sell on Call of Cthulhu. You outsell RuneQuest by a light year with Call of Cthulhu. Now imagine if you could start convincing those Call of Cthulhu players to come over to a sci-fi game, or come over to a fantasy game, or come over to a heist game. And then you introduce them to the old basic role-playing game, which is clunky and fidgety and full of little, you know, things you got to worry about. It's a big difference, man. It's a big difference, at least in my mindset. Palladium, the changes from what I'm understanding, what everybody said, between 1E and 2E are negligible, right? Negligible changes. So we talked about that with Sean, Max. Remember we talked about how Palladium has never felt the need to rewrite their entire system. They've just made what little clarifications they need over time. That's something certainly, Bruce, you know, Castles and Crusades. The Trolls do that as well. They don't rewrite the system. Well. Yeah. So I'm happy to trade that book for the my Palladium fantasy book back. Are you kidding me? That's awesome. That's a great deal as far as I'm concerned. I don't know. You've got BRP, Max. What's your feelings? What?
Like I said, it's the same thing. This basically like you nailed it. I think like I find like this just little clunkiness that all those other games that use BRP like kind of like get rid of, but BRP never fucking did, right? Just like sticking around. It's like, and what you say, like, oh, Palladium like never felt the need to change their system. That's something that fucking drives me mad. Like, and we talked about it before. You know, like I hate how in role playing games in the role RPG hobby, the term edition has been corrupted. You know what I mean? Like edition is supposed to mean like, well, you republish the book, you fix some typo, you make things a little more clearer. Maybe you include the errata and maybe like you change the rules or 2 year, but the system stay the same. A new edition shouldn't make a new game system. It should be like it's the same system. We're just redoing the edition, right?
Which is why we call third edition D&D WotC Fantasy RPG First Edition.
Yeah, exactly. And that's and you know even with the because people like talk all the like 2E and whatever like, but even before that. When TSR did it, they had many editions of D&D with the Holmes and the Mulvey and those were actual edition of D&D.
Yeah.
All compatible, all the same system. They made another game they called AD&D. The rules were different enough that they added this little A there in front of that, saying, well, that's kind of a different game, right? It's new system, stuff like that, and that's fair.
Yeah.
Then third edition came in, and they decided to make their new system but still call it like D&D, and that's the thing. Now that's why people I'm regardless of what you think of the game. Like I agree with Max Liao when he say like, well, it's not D&D. I say, yeah, it's not D&D. It's not D&D. It's not AD&D. It's a new fucking game, which you can like and dislike. That's a different question. But it just slapped the name D&D on it, and that's fucking retarded in my opinion.
Before anybody jumps on that, I have to make a joke. Well, it's not a joke. It's a bit of a story, but imagine how much I drove my fucking dyed-in-the-wool Michael Moorcock fanboy referee crazy when I would constantly refer to being a wizard from Poontang, and he'd be like, Pantang! And I'm like, yep, Poontang. And he'd be like, shut up! It was so much fun. I think that's why he killed my character. I used to love tormenting that guy. Oh, my fuck. He was so up his own ass about his games. Hey, TCG, what's up, man?
Not much. You were talking about Palladium, and I play mostly Palladium, so I figured I'd pop on to say a few things.
Okay,
Palladium
cool.
Guy. Yeah.
Give us your stuff, Palladium guy.
Well, I have played a little bit in just about everything except Beyond the Supernatural and Wormwood. Nobody wanted to touch the Demon Planet, which sucked because I wanted to. I wanted to play on that planet so badly. And I don't have a good copy of the Beyond the Supernatural because most of my copies are photocopies of books, and that was a photocopy of a spiral notebook.
Yeah.
So it's not worth trying to read.
Okay.
But in my experience about Palladium, I don't know if you caught my comment earlier, but Palladium is excellent for people like Mr. Max Boy Van who does not like magic. You can just literally say, okay, you did through this entire campaign, you're not going to find a single magic item. Yeah, you know they exist, but they're so rare, you're not just going to find one.
You wouldn't want them anyway. They're rune items.
Oh, yeah. I might give you a magic item when you're level 10, maybe 15 max level, but until then, you're never going to find one because they're just that rare. And that makes sense in Palladium. You
quick
can
question,
do that and it'll still make sense.
Hold that thought, TCG.
Yeah.
Max, how much is the shipping in America for the Christmas box?
It was $12 something, so it's $50. It was $60, whatever. I pay $72.17.
You don't want to know how much it costs to ship to Canada. You don't want
It's
to.
almost expensive. $12.
So, Grandma, if you scroll back in the chat on my channel, and I think on Max Liao's channel, you're going to see the link for the Christmas box. If you need Palladium,
Still have it here.
Put aside $70 and go get yourself some Palladium, and you'll get a great selection.
So true story. There's one book I need. I need the Heroes Unlimited second edition book for something I'm going to try to run here in the somewhat near future. I only have first edition. I need second edition. I could have paid like $50 plus shipping for the book, or I could pay $60 and and shipping, and get a whole bunch of books, and hopefully that's in the package. So I went with the surprise package.
In the spring of 2024, a strange occurrence happened across the YouTubes and the live streamers guilds across America. A strange new phenomenon which had not been seen before on the streaming happened. Palladium Fantasy and Palladium games in general became a worldwide phenomenon as people eschewed the old D20 systems and embraced something from the old school renaissance that was not old school renaissance. Palladium games were suddenly being streamed across everywhere. Bear, who did not take credit for this, is the impetus for this entire thing on one lonely Christmas stream, home to 60 gamers watching.
Well, thank you, Bruce. I'll add to that. We'd have a little moment where somewhere someone went, I heard a great crying out from Seattle.
No, this is why this is such a good time for this right now, with WotC shooting itself in the feet. Now, to be fair, Palladium doesn't talk crap about WotC. I will, but Palladium doesn't. They respect the business, et cetera, et cetera. But with that said, hey, this is a perfect time that if you are a Palladium fan, or if you want to try Palladium, there's no better time than now to do it, because WotC does keep shooting itself in the foot. And if you've got to find a new game anyway, or you want to find a new game anyway, why not go with Palladium?
I'll tell you this. Hang on, before we jump in. Hang on. I've reached out to Free League, Chaosium. Oh, Jesus, Squirrel, man. Holy fuck, brother. Thank you so much. That is, wow, Squirrel. You, man, I got to get you whatever you need in life, because you've been way too generous. Holy fuck. Sorry. I reached out to Free League. I reached out to Modifius. I reached out to Chaosium. I reached out to a couple of indie producers. And I reached out to WotC. And I've talked with Sean, and he's been like, just, we'll talk and work something out. Every other company got back in touch with me and sent me review copies of
even
stuff.
Modifius?
Even Modifius.
Oh, Modifius can give me shit.
Oh, they gave me some Star Trek stuff to review, because I'm running Star Trek games on my channel, right? So they were very cool about that whole thing. And it was really, really, really interesting to see how responsive they were. They responded to emails. Free League's giving me a list of creators and saying, who do you want on for an interview? And we'll work it out and figure out the time zone stuff, all that.
Oh, nice.
WotC never even responded to me. Look at the difference. So what have you heard me say about Chaosium? They're nice guys. What have you heard me about Free League? Nicest people I ever met, friend to gaming channels, and they'll fucking give you the shirt off their back. What have you heard me say about Modifius? I really like what they're doing with the 2D20 and Star Trek. There's been some indie games we've reviewed, et cetera, et cetera. I love the fucking Palladium guys. What do you hear us say about WotC? Fuck them. Fuck those guys. Eat a bag of dicks. Because, like, Jesus Christ. How, like, guys, you're on a fucking edge over there. And when you tumble, you're going to tumble hard, and you're going to need all of this community and all the other communities out there having your back. And you've turned on them, so no back for you. Who got $10 from Mac? John, well done, boss. Nice. Now, John, you were about to say something. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, I know nothing about Palladium's games, but all I know is from when I've seen Sean and Kevin talk on Legion of Myth, and what I like about them is they just don't get involved in the nonsense.
Yep. Yeah. They're here to play games.
That's the right way to do it.
They're here to play games.
Yep.
That's what the point is, and I agree with that 100%. All right, TCG, keep going. Keep telling us the Palladium magic.
You're going to love this. I have a story that I'm not 100% sure, but I'm quite confident somewhere in Arabia, sitting in a very large palace or mansion, is a collection of Palladium books. Here's why. When I was doing a lot of GMing, was GMing for individual small groups using mini campaigns. At one point, a friend of mine's like, hey, can you GM for me, my uncle, his wife, and her brother? I'm like, sure. Come walking in is the normal American, second normal American, his uncle, his wife, a Arabian woman in full Arabian dress, her brother, also full Arabian dress. And so I'm like, okay. I was thinking, okay, this kind of works out. When I started this, I was thinking Arabian Nights, not Thousand Princes or whatever, just Arabian Nights style. I start playing off, and the Arabian dude literally starts getting mad. And it's not because of cultural procreation. He's like, I live this. can we play something else that isn't what I live, please? It's like, okay, we'll go straight over to King Arthur. He's like, thank you.
Mhm.
By the time we were done over a course of 3 days, he's like, before I leave America, I will own every single one of these damn books. They are that good. Or at least I should say the game is that good.
Wow, that's cool.
One of the things I hear about Palladium that's very similar to even GURPS is that if for whatever reason you don't like the system, people complain about it's clunky, the books are bad, blah, blah, blah. Nobody I've ever talked to says that the worlds suck. It doesn't matter if it's Rifts, doesn't matter. Oh, there you go.
Bro, there you go.
I will pause for that.
Who got that one?
John did.
Nope,
No,
that's
it's
not
not.
me.
I think it's me
Isn't
again.
that you, Max?
Is it me again?
Nope, I
Is
haven't
you
got
again?
anything.
Is it me again?
I don't check your fucking stream, buddy.
I need to. I need to. If it's me, I know Mercurius is.
All right, Squirrel, put down the credit card. You're clearly drunk. You've had too much eggnog, sir.
Wait, no. After you do Legion of Myth.
Let's get my stream up.
Anyway, keep going, Max. Keep telling your story.
Oh, is it the worlds? So it doesn't matter if it's Rift's Worlds book or the I don't know what they're called in Palladium Fantasy, but the different setting, etc. It's absolutely fantastic across the board, and every world book gives you more to add to your game other than just setting. You'll have new character classes, new items, new spells, and so forth. So you're always able to expand upon. And thank you, Walter MC.
On record, man, I absolutely adore the Palladium setting. I've always adored the Palladium setting. I saw that wolf fucking shaman on the cover of the Northern Wilderness book, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? I was like, and I remember being in the store, picking it up and going, what the fuck is this? And my DM's like, that's Palladium. It sucks. You don't want to play that. I'm like, okay. And I put it back, but it stuck with me.
That Keith Parkinson, R.I.P. With the wolfen holding the skull and the zombie. I have that at work. Like I have a Parkinson signed copy of that, and I have it hanging at work. Oh, Squirrel,
put it down.
Merry Christmas to you, sir. Thank you very much.
To win the lottery? What's going on?
I just need to confirm. Yes, that previous one was on my channel. So
Oh
thank
my
you, Squirrel.
God.
Absolutely.
Squirrel.
Right.
Okay, everyone subscribe. Everyone watching this right now, go to @GM_Cody and subscribe, because the fact that Cody's channel is not at 1,000 is a fucking crime. Please.
That is true. Let me get it on the. You have a link in the private chat here, right?
Jim Cody?
What's that?
How much are you?
I'm at 400.
Oh man, yeah. You need to pump up those numbers.
Yeah,
Thank
those
you
are
very
some
much,
rookie
Squirrel.
numbers. Got to pump those numbers up.
Yeah.
Got to hire an SEO expert to get those numbers. I know I got somebody reach out to me from India, say your SEO sucks. Hire
Yeah.
me. And I'll
I've gotten those too. They're hilarious. Those emails.
Yeah.
Well,
I can tell you.
Sorry.
Well, two things. One,
Brian,
everybody
we
should
love you, bro.
subscribe to Squirrel Hermit as well. I mean, he's donating us a ton of money, so I'll shout out his channel. But I can tell you that for us, the growth came when I started screaming at the rain. Just saying. We had 5 years worth of getting 3 views on videos, doing comic book reviews, anime reviews, and tabletop game fundamentals. Those would get a bit more. But when I jumped on the show after they had 250 some episodes weekly, and it's not me, it's the fact that I started screaming at the rain and got people invested all of a sudden. So if you want the trick to at least initial growth, start screaming at the rain.
John, man, your fans are dedicated, bro.
They are.
they're helping fund his plane ticket to Canada.
Stop
right.
it!
So
It is a new tab. Sorry.
So if we pull this off and everybody gets their ass to Claricon, we get to have a real in-face Palladium Fantasy session.
Oh,
as
yeah.
well.
Where's that going to be?
Here in
Ontario.
Toronto.
Just
Jesus.
west of Toronto. You can do it, Max.
That's an international move. Forget that.
No, listen. You can you have a passport. You can cross the border, right?
Is my passport still good? I think it is.
Cody, you're going to be driving up, right? Or are you flying up?
If it was just me going, I would probably fly up.
How
Be
far is
way more-
Alabama from Tennessee?
It depends. What part of Alabama?
Montgomery.
Montgomery, Alabama. It's probably 6 hours.
You guys could meet
For
in
me?
the middle.
Nashville.
Meet in the middle.
That'd be quite
Meet
the
in
road trip.
Memphis. Is Memphis in the middle? I don't know.
Hey, if it's Memphis, then I think we can pick up Rolling Bones also.
No, road trip. Get the fucking van, dude. Get the shaggin' wagon.
I got the van. We'll just paint Tarna on the side. We're good to go. We're going on the world tour.
Remember, Nerds Nerd never wanted to be a pterodactyl more in her life.
Yeah, we'll get Nerds Nerd, the cosplay, the Tarna cosplay. We're all set.
No, again, she'll want to
Yes, but
cosplay
who plays the pterodactyl?
Oh,
That's
the pterodactyl.
Nerd. Yeah, we got to go get a stripper to be Tarna, so Nerds Nerd
Okay,
can die
well,
happy.
I think
Strapped to the
Nerds
side
Nerd
of
would
a
fit
van
that.
in November.
If only we had a person that could wear a bikini and play Tarna. There must be a shortage of
How
them.
much money you
across America. There's a shortage of them in America, apparently.
Yeah, I'm just not putting up with the cosplayer attitude, sir. Think about it.
Let's
We wouldn't
say
get
there
to
is no
play 'cause we'd be
shortage
too
of
busy
women
doing
that
Insta
can.
stuff.
I think also like Claricon is a family of the new, so
Yeah, there's
Maybe
that too. I don't think the dungeon minister would be happy with us rolling in with a bunch of Instagram thoughts.
Yeah.
no.
But in all seriousness, I'd probably just fly up. It's a real short flight. It's only a 12-hour drive, so it's probably only like 2-hour flight for me.
Sounds about right.
And then the only problem is I'd have to fly in Toronto, and somebody would have to pick me up from Toronto and bring me to the convention.
Well, that's gonna be easy.
Sean.
Yeah, I'm literally half an hour from the airport. So yeah,
There you go.
But
I
you know,
come
that's the thing where I'm at now. Like, if I want to drive, if I want to fly, it's a 9-hour drive to get to the fucking airport. Basically,
I plan to get in touch with Dungeon Minister in the new year and find out if there's any sort of local legends and stuff around this area, because I would like to write a short Call of Cthulhu scenario
Are you
based
kidding?
on his area.
There's a family from that part of Ontario that has one of the most epic stories ever.
the
The
Black
Black
Donnellys.
Donnellys. Look up the Black Donnellys, and it is a Cthulhu adventure waiting to happen for you. An entire town kills a family, like kills them because they're squatting on land, and it's amazing. The Black Donnellys is such a don't do the fucking TV show because it was modern and bullshit. Look up the original legend of the Black Donnellys.
I've made a note there. I will have a look.
That
See
is
if I
a
can twist it
Cthulhu
somewhere.
campaign. That's an adventure waiting to happen.
What
Hang
would
on,
be
wait.
great? What would be great is if we're all going to Claricon and we're all GMs, if we're all running a game at Claricon.
And nobody's
Absolutely.
playing.
Yeah, no,
Nobody plays. Mac Thompson, Bear Cave Sat Night topic. Bear. Oh, you mean for my maybe I'll do one on the Black Donnellys. It's a fucked up story, but it's not really supernatural. It's just horrific. But I might touch that on the Bear Cave. That could be fun. Good call,
yeah,
Matt.
that'd be fun.
For the Cthulhu adventure, they're all deep ones, and they, got found out.
Or something else. Maybe they found out something was going on in the town, and therefore the town had to get rid of them.
That's a little more
All
high
right,
level.
has anybody seen the Disney cartoon Atlantis movie?
Of course, I have the source book for it because I use it for when I was running a Mystara game. I changed Erendi into aquatic elves who were like the Atlantis people.
Did anybody see the second one? They have a heavy Call of Cthulhu section in that one where it's literally a sea creature is mind controlling a mare who has been living for centuries to control a town through mist. And they deleted a scene that they should have left in, which is a woman who's been saying the whole time her child can't go out and play. She's holding her child, and while her back's to the camera, and then you see tentacles pop out like the next generation has already been born.
Fucked. I'll check it out. Hey, Brian, I thought you went to bed, or we're going to dinner or something. What's going on? Yeah, is it October for Claire?
Brian's still on England time.
Good point. He's on Greenwich Mean Time. When is Claricon? It's in September, October. When is it? November.
The last one was the first weekend of November, but he hasn't set the date for the next one. But he was tinkering with the idea of doing it between Thanksgiving and Halloween. So a week before Halloween.
Canadian Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Canadian.
Yeah,
Thanksgiving.
Canadian Thanksgiving. The
Real
real
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Columbus
The one
Day
that's-
for you Yanks.
The one that's a fucking harvest festival, which Thanksgiving was supposed to be. You know what we're talking about.
I'm
You'll
definitely
geek notes
not
because they do it over there the right time. What was that, Cody?
I said I'm
We don't have
definitely not a
Thanksgiving.
Yankee.
Oh, Australia does. I thought you did too.
No, we don't do Thanksgiving. No.
Bunch of fucking palms.
We just wait for you to get all your shit done with, then we have our big one.
No, you guys are just trying to increase family homicide rates by having you have to deal with your family twice within a month's space. You know what I mean?
Hey, this is why I live in Alabama while the rest of my family's in Minnesota.
All my exes live in Texas. Cody and I are starting a band, by the way. We're just going to drive around in a van and sing shitty songs to people. Should be good. Come on, check us out. Our first album, What the Fuck? That's what it's going to be titled.
Nighthawk.
WTA.
I summon thee.
Where's Nerd's Nerd? We need her. Canada has to steal holidays after their independence. Omanal, go away. You're not allowed on the stream because you don't have a channel, Omanal.
He must be watching on the old Geeks because I don't see him on the other channel.
Yeah.
I started streaming over to Rumble. We got 4 people over there.
Oh, hi, Rumble.
Hi,
Rumble.
Oh yeah.
Well, we have 70 people watching between all of us on YouTube right now. That's a pretty good fucking number, I gotta say.
Yeah, I was waiting to stream this to know if my internet was actually going to let me stay on for a little while because it was starting to be a little wonky. So,
well, glad you're here, man. It's this is interesting. This Palladium rant we went on. I mean,
oh yeah,
we all been infected by Sean. Is that what happened? Sean Robertson went on Legion of and did a fucking Cthulhuoid thing, and now we're all like,
oh, did you see the tentacles coming from behind him when he was on the show?
Exactly. Yeah.
I think that's just like
sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, for me, it's a little bit ingrained because I tried D&D once, and the system did not click with me at all. Palladium was the second RPG I ever really tried, and it instantaneously clicked. It just made sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the first?
Oh, the first was D&D, but that was like literally.
Oh, I thought you said it was the
original
second
D&D.
one that clicked. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, the first one I tried was D&D, but the first game that clicked was Palladium. That's the second game I played.
I think that spell that Sean put on all of us is just like being a decent fucking human being, just being a nice guy.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Well, you know what?
Show up and he's seems like genuine. He talk about his stuff.
If we could say one thing about everybody who's on the stream right now, and a lot of the people in the chat that we know, and that's pretty much everybody at this point, and all the other people we've streamed with or had on panels, we all love role-playing games. We clearly love role-playing games, and it's clear Kevin and Sean love role-playing games in the same way we do. You know what I mean? So it's not like, they're trying to make slick commercial products to get money out of casuals or, tourists or whatever the case may be. They're making stuff for gamers by gamers. And that's kind of a cool thing for us all to be a part of. I'm pleased as punch, man. This has been a fortuitous Christmas just by this turn of events from talking about maybe I'll run D&D. I don't know which one to. Fucking play it fancy. Let's do that. Fuck, go.
I just really hope that you enjoy it.
Well, I used to love Robotech, so I can't see myself not enjoying.
Wait a minute, hold on, pause. Is Robotech an option?
No.
Oh,
damn.
Crafty Gamer, that's your corner now. You're the Robotech guy.
Yeah.
Dungeon Minister's ears must have been burning.
Yes, we said his name 3 times in the mirror.
Yeah. Aaron, when are you doing Clericon Part 2?
You have no idea what's coming your way, by the way.
Something about a van and
the pussy
degenerate hillbillies,
the shaggin' wagon, and all the rest, right?
All I could think of now, right after you don't know what's coming your way, is all I could immediately think of was "Rocked You Like a Hurricane."
We can tool down the highway to that.
As somebody who's been in the Air Force or worked for the Air Force for 30 years, I love Scorpions, but if I never hear "Rock You Like a Hurricane" again, every damn air show.
Yeah. That's like the theme song of the Blue Angels at this point, right?
Probably.
Blue Angels is Navy. No, theirs is Kenny Loggins, Highway of the Danger Zone.
You're a highway to the danger zone, Bruce. Stop sniffing paint.
I refuse.
I refuse. No open windows where I work, sir.
Yeah,
we've got so much ventilation going on here. I've got 5 fans going on. I've got the open balcony door. We're good.
Oh, there we go.
This just in, Dungeon Minister is going to announce on his New Year's Day stream the Clericon 24 dates. You will have to tune in. Send me your channel, man. I'm gonna put it up here for everybody. Everybody go subscribe to the Dungeon Minister.
I will do my best to try not to be hungover.
He chugged his beer.
Oh, don't you know there? He always gets drunk whenever it comes time for a
St.
New
Polly
Year's
girl.
Eve. He's gonna be singing. He's gonna find somebody to give him money so he could do the entire first album of Queensryche. Oh yeah, betcha.
Oh, you know, eh?
Oh, you know.
We're going to have an
Minnesota
epic
and
group
Canada.
shot.
Was that
South Canada and
I was gonna say
Canada.
we're going to have an epic group picture at next Claricon.
Oh yeah.
We did a group
that's gonna
shot
be-
of 6 of us on the last one.
Make sure you get a stool for me to stand on then.
I'll carry you, little man. I'll carry you on my shoulders.
Make sure we have Master Max Voyan with a beaver shaped chainsaw.
A what?
A beaver safe chainsaw.
What the hell did I just miss?
I don't know.
Oh,
Just
a
a
beaver
no,
chase?
just a beaver in one hand and a thing of simulated vanilla in the other, right? Because
If he's wearing fluffy boots, we know how he swings.
do we have 2 hours left? Because that's around the time when things get really weird.
well, the plan was to go until I'm tired of doing this, and I was tired of doing it, and then we got a second wind, so now I'm doing all right. So it'll end when it ends. But I figured out I got to keep all the Southerners out because they just turned into culture war and government sucks and guns. And it's like, okay,
Hey, I don't.
hey, you're not really a Southerner,
Bring
Cody. You
in
might
crap-
live in the
crap
South,
myself
but
out of
you're
smuggle porn.
I think
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
pretty good. I never show my firearm on your stream yet. I could just, I don't, right? Yeah.
we got to keep Crafty Matt out. Thank God he doesn't have a channel because he'll just come in and talk. Jesus Christ.
I thought it was like a stock as a channel like 20 best way to stash porn.
You have to use this 3M tape. I don't need this style of cabinet from Solder in your bathroom, and tape the little envelope facing the northerly direction.
Now, when you hide it under
y'all missed that
the rug
today.
in the bathroom, there's a chance you'll get mildew. So I recommend using a Ziploc freezer bag to keep it dry and safe. Thanks, Matt. That's awesome.
You don't know what they're talking about, Ilya.
Max now is just like, I have no clue what's happening.
Hey, but here we go. No, there's somebody in my chat right now who can answer all your first versus second edition Palladium Fantasy.
Who?
Violence solves everything.
Oh yeah.
He's definitely on the first edition bandwagon, and he can tell you everything why it's better than second edition.
Dear God. Violence. Don't take shots at Canada, son, because we will fucking punch you in the throat and then piss on you to put out the fire we lit.
Wait, which problem with what right or left Canada?
Oh, all Canada. There's a place where all Canada comes together, and that's punching Americans. Like we just all go, all right, fuck this shit, let's go. It's hockey shirts and uppercuts. You know what I
Turns
mean?
into the last 10
Yeah,
minutes of
we gotta
fucking
bring, like,
Irish
punch
guy.
each
Unless
other
the
and do,
English
like,
Canada and
American.
French Canada get along better than that moment in time when Bostonians fuck around in Montreal. You know what I mean?
Well, Palladium Rifts actually has its iconic Glitter Boy power armor was designed in Quebec and made with a
Thank you, Kabuki.
America and Canada working together.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah,
almost
I
say
believe
Afghanistan?
It's Bombardier. Glitter boys are made by Bombardier.
Well, that's why they weren't delivered until after the war, right?
Exactly.
I believe so.
So Violence Solves Everything. We want to know what the differences are between Palladium First Edition and Second Edition, like the actual major differences that affect gameplay. If you're willing to tell us, we would really appreciate that, sir.
Yeah.
He's probably tired of that question because I've asked him it a few times. No, but I've explained the stuff that you like to explain, Violence, about the the STC versus hit points. Spell casting's different, but that also like to talk. Oh, and somebody did confirm that the original the original one didn't have skill improvements, but I think somebody said revised does. Malachi, I think that's the one that confirmed that. But
Now it's getting even more complex.
like, what's the main difference? Like, what is the main difference between first and second edition? Why do you like first edition so damn much?
Grandma, we do. They're called Quebecois.
Nah, that's nah. It's fucking people from GTA, man. Fucking Southern or I guess like in the South, like would be Albertan would be like our Southerner.
Yeah, Albertans are more like Texans, though, right?
They're the Cowboys, yeah.
Yeah, they're
our
the ones
Southerners
that
are more
are
like
talking about.
Southeast Ontario and the Maritimes would be closer to the south. You know what I mean?
I-
Because the Maritimers are like Appalachians. They're really, really like the Appalachians a lot.
Yeah, well, the Appalachia and there, right? Just like it goes all the way to Quebec. The Chick-Chuck is the end of the Appalachia.
Yeah, you can look out your window and see the Chick-Shocks there, buddy boy.
Yeah, I know.
Mhm.
I can see the Hillbilly too when I go. Hillbillies.
All right, well, I don't know if Bounce is going to answer the question, but there we are. Okay, so other than getting into the Canada-America war, which is making Yield giggle because, you know, we're all his country's fault, except for Mr. Boivin, who's Quebec, France's country's fault. We don't have an answer, though, on the primary differences of Palladium, second versus first edition revised.
I've never read
I'm
first.
starting to suspect from what people are saying, and TCG, you might be able to answer this for us. It's not that big a difference, is it? Oh, wait, we got something. Hang on. I stalled long enough.
No
physical skills. Men-at-arm OCCs actually have value. Armor is worth wearing. No personal SDC. No PP to fight with. Okay.
You need any of that
That's
translated?
Yeah, I would like that translated. Okay, no physical skills. So no boxing skill?
Yeah, so no boxing, no weightlifting. Basically, the things that you use in Palladium to increase your attributes if you roll poorly. Men at Arms OCC, so those are your fighter classes, all the various different fighter classes. They're apparently useful. I didn't find them. I played a Ranger, so I didn't find it not useful in second edition. But then again, I don't have anything compared to. Armor is worth wearing because your rolls are going to be a little bit lower. And then unless there's an so if you have an armor rating of 12, for example, that means a roll of, because remember, a 5 hits. So a roll between 5 and 12 hits the
armor.
Yeah, hits the armor, not you. If you roll a 13 or higher, it hits you.
Okay, that's interesting.
It's a very simplistic system. A lot of people complain about it because where'd you find a chink in my plate mail armor? It just fucking happened. Roll your damage. But no personal SDC. That's what we were talking about before about just hit points. No PPE. That was the spell casting thing. Somebody else will have to explain how the spells work versus the PPE spells because I don't know. And then monsters
So which is better then? I mean, let's be honest. Which is better? Is it the PPE or the spells per level thing? That's the question.
I'm used to the PPE, so I can't answer that. I don't know the other way. But
how does So, Bear, you've looked at first edition fantasy. How does the spell casting work in there?
I don't know. I've never looked at it enough to have it. I don't know. I'll just leave it at I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, so this goes back to the reaction combat that we were talking about, the action reaction combat. Well, in this case, you can, because remember, you have lower attack numbers in first edition. So in this case, your armor is more meaningful.
But does everybody get a free parry?
I don't know if it's free in first edition or not. Usually parry is free, but
He's talking in second edition there. Okay. Parry is free.
so bonuses hit that they roll low enough stop by armor, like be blocked by the free parry the opponent gets. Yeah. There's a lot of action reaction, especially with the extra attacks and so forth. But that's second edition. First edition, I think it's more just straight up deadly is the way to say it. I like I said, conceptually, I like first edition. I'm pretty sure I played it back in the day because we were playing, I think, before second edition came out. But anyway, get X spells that are given level, for example. Level 1 mage, 2 spells per day. Level 15, 45 spells per day. That's right. That's one thing that's cool about Palladium across the board is you're not limited by spell level. You're only a level 1 character, so you can only have level 1 spells. No, you can have any number of spells. A spell level. A parry cost and action. Okay.
So you what is the drawback then? Why if the first spell you can get the fucking strongest spell you can, right? Get the fucking
because the game master told you no.
So
okay.
So violence solves everything. Since you seem to have a handle on this, would you say first edition spellcasting is better than the PPE system, or the PPE system is better, or they're just different systems and both have their merits and flaws?
Well, my experience with, I did play with my first GM, the guy who taught me like the first the spells per level more than PPE, so I do have a little experience with that. I actually prefer the PPE because it makes more sense when you start getting to higher level spells. In the fact that you can, all right, you want to cast a level 15 spell. Do you have the 150 PPE to cast that? No. Okay, then you can't cast that. But there are also ways around that. There are items that can give you PPE. There are, if you're playing an evil campaign, you can sacrifice people, which doubles PPE that they have within their body at death.
Especially with the children.
Yeah, children actually have the most PPE.
Suddenly, I have a strange feeling I know what Mr. Boivin is going to want to play.
I don't play spellcaster.
Sacrifice his children for PPE.
I don't play spellcaster.
So the
Oh, that's right. You hate magic.
For the person that said that Palladium's an incomplete system, that's somebody you were misinformed. A lot of people feel that way. The books have bad editing, so sometimes it's hard to find stuff. It provides a framework. It's not Pathfinder. It's not meant to be an encyclopedia. It provides a framework for everything you would want to do, though. I've never run into a situation where I'm like, crap, the game didn't tell me or it didn't set me up to make a ruling. But there are a lot of situations where rulings have to come into play because there isn't a specific rule. Is it plus 5%, minus 10%? Who knows? Well, you're the game master. You determine if it should be plus 5% or minus 10%.
You see, I find that interesting what Violence say there. Like that sounds appealing to me.
Second level, you have many spells that you will never have enough PPE to cast unless you wish to sacrifice people or cast during an eclipse or on the ley line. Ooh. Okay, so Violence solves everything. Big question then. This is the big question. Could you run first edition but use the magic from second edition? Is it possible, or would it be too much of a break? That's what I want to know.
Imagine you need both books.
I might have both books.
Right.
Do you have the you gotta wait for your box to get there. Sorry, I forgot. I was about to say, which do you have this book? And then like, wait, no, he has to restart his collection. Sorry.
Don't wait. Hang on. I missed one from Violence. Hang on. There are many things missing from the second book, despite it being a larger book. Okay.
Gods and so
That
forth.
part I wouldn't know.
It's gods. It's nothing to do with actual gameplay, but it's setting stuff.
Okay, I'm starting to think the PPE sounds better for me and the way I like to do things. He says it's possible to do it. Would it be really hard to do, or is it an easy thing you just add it on and away you go? And Charles says, yep, you could do it.
I'm wondering if the spells are done differently, if it would break the game. Like, as in, would there be a way to break it by using the second edition system in first edition? Just are there considerations you'd have to take?
Or also, if you want to make a move like that, like would it be like playing first edition, bring the second edition magic, or playing second edition, and getting rid of the SDC? And,
well, there's more to second edition than just SDC, though.
Well, the other thing is like the other big thing seem to be about the magic, no?
Does first edition have ISP or the?
Yes, he said that. He said Psionics uses ISP in both editions, and ISP works like PPE. Now, what is ISP? Hey, Hungar, how you feeling, man?
Internal strength points.
Internal strength points. Yeah.
What is that?
For a direct definition, that is how much psychic energy you can expend before you run out of juice. Like, for example, some psychics, I just lifted a cup, but I cannot do anything like that again for 24 hours or until I recharge my my ISP.
Which is funny because potential psychic energy is for magic, but internal strength points for psychic.
Yeah, it's backwards.
But I mean, I don't know if it's in Palladium, but like, for example, Rifts, you would also use your PPE to buy your psionic powers or something like that, if I remember correctly. No, that was beyond the supernatural.
You can switch your PPE to ISP at a 2-to-1 ratio.
Right. Yeah, I'm muddled on the mechanics. I think beyond supernatural, you had to use your PPE to buy your powers or something like that. I remember there was something like that in one of the systems.
But the point I was making, Bear, make sure you read the psionic powers carefully and decide if you want to deal with them your first time go, because they can be
tend to want
OP.
psionics in my fantasy, but baked into the setting, it's a different story at that point.
You can remove it. The Palladium Fantasy is flexible like that.
Yeah. I'm just not a big fan of psionics and fantasy together. Psionics always has a sci-fi feel to me, you know?
I hate psionics in every
wife
game.
is doing your Kim impersonation in the background.
Quick,
That's,
send help! Send help!
That's Raven.
Hi, Raven. Tell Raven we say hi. No, do you have to
So,
mute yourself?
guys,
It's just funny.
my dinner is ready. I just got the door knocked, so I'm going to tap out now and say goodbye. Merry Christmas,
Merry
everyone.
Christmas.
Sean, thank you so much for being part of the conversation, man. It was awesome having you here.
Looking forward to seeing you again.
As always, thanks for having me. We'll see you all soon. Eventually, I might even have a video of my own up again.
Hopefully.
Rules my weapon mastery. Get it done.
Yeah, that's on the list. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
It's not that I hate psionics, Levi. I just don't like the feel of psionics in fantasy. It's a personal choice. It's not a hatred.
Well, no, I'm going to take a different track on that one. No, it's not just a different type of magic. It's lazy magic. It's I don't want to actually research spells. It's I don't want to actually have to worry about components in a book. It's like I don't want to do all the things that require me to cast spell. I just want to go loo, 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 and expect something to happen. No.
I don't want to have to pay speed factor for it to go off. I want it to be instantaneous.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with it if there was some sort of mental drawback.
Like
Well,
you're
there is
confused for a round?
the ISP is.
Yeah, that sort of thing. That sort of thing.
Look at that.
I see what you're
well,
saying.
serious.
Gamer,
That's
you're
very
not a
nice of
member
you.
on my channel. There's no benefit.
I'm a fan of one or the other, right? Like you either have psionics or you have magic. I don't like both together because I feel like they kind of are one.
So
and the
Palladium does a really good job, though, of making magic more one-shot powerful.
They do.
And-
Hold that thought. You know what, Von solves everything? I really appreciate you doing that for us, though, because we've been talking about it for an hour and a half, and having someone come in and just break things down for us like that was really appreciated. Thank you very much, sir. And I'm sorry we took you from your nap to immediately doing game theory for us, but thank you.
But Palladium, the magic in a single spell is more powerful than a single psychic attack. That's also why you can do one psychic action or per action, where magic is 2-1 or every other round. So it's kind of 6 of one, half dozen the other. I do like the way Palladium puts it together. I really, really do. I just a psychic to me seemed like I don't want to deal with all the nonsense. I just want the power. It's like no.
Big issue with second edition for me is that mages and psionics can take all the top combat skills and weapon skills, making that identical to warriors in combat, and have their powers on top of that. Well, that's an easy house rule. I mean, does that seem like a hard house rule to say? No, you can't.
Nah, just say no wizard in the game.
You shut up. No, I'd be shocked if anybody from this group of people were like, I really want to play a wizard. You guys don't strike me as wizard people.
I play a wizard.
Oh, Cody.
Oh,
Cody
I
the
stand
wizard?
corrected. Cody's like, I'm playing a
the-
wizard who hates weaving.
If I were to play, you would not want me to play. You would have to put restrictions on me.
If I were to play, you would not want me to play. Well, that's a self-solving problem, sir.
I tend to lean a little roguey. I like roguey sort of classes.
Nice.
Well, the first thing I want to do is play my 4-armed giant blade priest, one of my favorite combo races and OCCs.
What did I do that gets me a good for me there? Poly robotics one. I don't know any context on that.
Oh, there's no index, eh?
Gifted
Fuck.
1 Legion of Myth membership. Hey, look at that! Another one getting memberships tonight. Mercurius is going
Oh,
great.
yeah. No,
And he gave it to David Welker. I don't know who David Welker is, but thank you, David Welker. You now are a member.
And now he's going to be
And
allowed
thank you,
in the
Mercurius, for
giveaway.
donating the membership.
Shadow, who I don't know why he hasn't joined us tonight, says psionics and all psychic abilities are you have ever heard of. Do you allow telepathy or ESP cells? No. Because psionics also include things like speed reading, sixth sense, and precognition. Yeah, that's just no. That's amazing how you're hitting all my no buttons there, Shadow. It's awesome.
Oh, there's
Gandalf
a
did not
vagabond.
use armor, but did now sword. Yeah, he did have a sword. He just didn't wear armor. There you go. Hey, Chris, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Welcome back. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Gandalf was more than a mage.
Sorry, there's a vagabond OCC as well in
Yeah.
fantasy.
Why is Bruce? Wait, sorry. Why is Bruce not streaming on YouTube tonight? Are you not simulcasting, Bruce?
I'm simulcasting under Rumble. I had to
Ah,
choose because
Oh,
you only have so many slots. I'm like, I need to love my Rumble more.
does the Palladium Fantasy RPG have an overarching meta plot?
Very
Some of
loose
it.
one.
Very
You
loose
know,
in the fantasy
Grid
game.
Max.
Yeah. I mean, the setting books give you things that are happening within those very like northern wilderness, Yinslath jungles, and so forth. So yes, but it's very loose in the fact that you can deal with it or not. It's up to your game master.
Yeah, if you read through the books, there's kind of a slight direction it's all going, but it like Max says, it's very loose. You can either draw a lot of strings or just leave it as individual things that happen.
Okay. Shadow, in sci-fi, if it's the sci-fi setting has it, yes. If I'm playing Alien, no. And in superhero games, of course, it's a staple. Mentalists are a staple of superhero games.
Like there's a venture I want to run that's in the main book. It's though it does involve a fairly powerful but also kind of cursed magic item. But it is such. I don't want to give any spoilers in case you're like, oh yeah, I want to run this. I don't want to give any spoilers.
Well, I'm going to read it and see what I like. Mage's penalties with armor don't matter because most of the time your attack roll will be higher than the AR of any armor you're wearing, and if it isn't, your opponent will easily parry.
I think he's talking second edition there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As such, it's rarely of value to wear armor. Okay. Malachi, is the Dungeons and Gods book good? Dragons and Gods book, sorry. And then
I personally would say yes.
Grandma's drinking. She's having her own conversation over there tonight. It was funny that she's like, I don't drink anymore. This is hitting me hard. It's like, okay, lady. Grandma, you're the best. Don't ever change. So it seems like the PPE system could easily be ported over to the first edition rules. That's good news because I like a that sounds more like my taste. PPE, right? I'll have to read it and see, but I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Shut him up on D&D. We know D&D and love it, but one cannot live on creative food alone. Grandma, put the bottle down. Just put the bottle down at this point.
D&D's creative food?
Yes, apparently. If you're running 2E, then yes, it gives stats for what is described, including alien intelligence and elementals, and in second, they are very dangerous. That's
the Dragons and Gods book, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, can you use the Dragons and Gods? Can you use the Bestiary from 2E with 1E revised and not just kill your players right out? That's a good question to ask.
I have the 1E Bestiary book. If you I don't have it in digits though, but I do have the 1E. What's that?
Yar.
Oh, you do have it? Okay.
Yar.
He has it.
I don't have the 2E one. I should get it.
Well,
anyway, so you were saying
Yep.
TCG. You were going to say about the second edition to first edition monster stuff.
Oh, you might. I haven't seen the first edition books, but my understanding would be just remove the SDC and maybe beef up the health a little bit, and you should be fine.
So monsters in 2E have more hit points and have hit points and have SDC, and outside of demons and devils have everything else increased in power to fit second edition. Yes.
Okay,
but VSE, would they overpower 1E revised characters is what I'm saying.
I've worked it out with Grandma. She's about an hour and a half behind on the stream.
Oh, now that explains what's going on. She's talking about builds. Yeah, that's about an hour and a half back. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Oh, someone said something in private. Remember, guys, now is also someone streaming whatever the name is, the inspiration to play him, so let's not harp on piracy, please. Of course not. No one would harp on piracy at all. What are you talking about? Shut up.
Ever.
No, if you read the private message out loud, it can defeat.
Oh, no. As soon as I thought it was from you, I'm reading it out loud because it might be a hate crime, and I want everyone to realize I'm not being mean when I pick on you. I'm just being a reporter. This just in.
I do all my hate crime in public.
I'm sorry, what?
I do all my hate crime in public. I'm very nice.
Aren't you the one who says it's only a war crime the first time? Or it's not a war crime the first time or something?
It's not a
like
war
that?
crime the first time. Bad
You
electrician.
know,
isn't.
I'm French Canadian, so I say people need to fucking stop crying about war crime. You know, it's war.
First edition characters are weaker than second edition monsters, so you'd need to alter the slots to avoid wiping the floor with the party. Ooh.
Or the party
Interesting.
plays smarter.
Hmm.
Make a couple of characters.
Dragons and Gods gives rift stats for all the dragon species, both adult and hatchling. I used to be in Conversion Book 1, but was removed. It was used to be in Conversion Book 1, was removed from the revised Conversion Book. Okay. For example, 2E characters have 2 to 5 attacks per round, 2 for living, 2 for hand-to-hand skill, and 1 for boxing. 1E characters all start with 1 action. How many actions do the monsters
Was it
get?
1?
Oh, dear God. Okay. We're just going into weird places now and war crimes all of a sudden.
No, I'm starting to feel like maybe Violent Souls Everything should take my seat.
I think you're doing fine, sir.
Yeah.
Don't undersell yourself, TCG. My God, man. Come on.
Well,
We used
true
to have
story. I
PK.
never once felt imposter syndrome about anything I did. I was like, okay, this is made to a standard I can accept. I start showing up on table breakers and I get heavy imposter syndrome. It's like, what am I doing here? I got nothing on these guys.
Well, I've got good news for you, TCG. We are way less than table breakers here, so you're safe.
That's it's good also to put yourself in a situation when you feel like you're inadequate, because it means you're pushing yourself, right? You don't want to be like the smartest person. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room, right? We all say that.
All right, well then I'm leaving.
Okay, gotta go. Bye.
That's how.
That's
when
why
I
you
started-
invite me. So
I mean, I've done a few sort of audiobook style readings recently, and of course I stream with the likes of Bear and Sean, who've both got trained production level voices. And I was thinking, why would anyone listen to me reading a book? But the feedback's been great because I pushed myself to do it. And
I saw that, Cody. Sorry, Cody had a mouthful of noodles. He's like, oh, turn off my camera.
It's good, but I don't think anybody wants to watch me eating it. So,
well, there you go.
it's just,
John, I would tell you this
doesn't
right
work.
now. I will say this just as sweet as I can put it. Shut the fuck up, dude. Your voice is fine.
Yeah, you gotta forget.
You have no reason to doubt your voice. You speak clearly. You speak well. Plus, you got that sexy accent that makes me want to turn gay for you.
Just saying,
It's working out.
the doubt is just a natural thing, though, isn't it? It's when you try something new.
Okay.
You think, can I do this?
So what's stopping you, Bear?
Dude, every time I've worked on a film, okay, despite going through the audition process, a screen press process, a fucking wardrobe fitting, makeup, whatever, I still think I'm going to get to set and they're going to go, oh, no, we wanted the other guy, not you. Imposter syndrome is just a part of being a creative. And if you don't have imposter syndrome as a creative, you're an arrogant fuck who thinks they're amazing.
God damn it.
Well,
That's
I've
me,
never
but I know
thought I was
about it, you know.
amazing in my work. I was just content with it. Like, all right, well, that's not the best work I've ever seen, but it's the best I can do, so I'm happy with that.
What the fuck, man? Gay bear is a hermaphrodite bear? What the hell, Polly? We were getting along so well. What? I don't know. Suddenly it's the bipolar bear all over again. I feel bad.
Yeah.
One thing with Palladium, all editions with a few minor exceptions in 1E, there is no pre-stated creatures. Everything is written like you're rolling up a character. Oh, really? So I got to roll up the monsters?
Yeah, I think so. So
Well, it's meant to make
this-
everything level with the characters.
Let me
Sorry, heterosexual bear. I don't know. Hermaphrodite bear was sounding weird, but
so I'm looking at the Lizard Mage. This is first edition book. So yeah. So like for example, IQ, ME, MA, blah blah blah. It just gives number of dice you roll. Hit points average is 60, but you'll roll that based off your whatever your endurance is. PPE that this thing will have is 5d6 times 10. So yeah, you're rolling up. You're statting these out like they're characters, which you know what? While that is more work for the game master, I kind of like that because when you run across different ones, one might be more powerful than another. Not that I don't do that in D&D anyway, but you know.
Yeah.
Though I'm sure somewhere out there on the interwebs is a default. You know, someone went and took all the trouble of just assembling
Well, you know,
default builds.
You can just take the average, right? And just like that's not that hard to do, right?
Yeah, some of us are math dyslexic.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So we can't just easily do math in our heads.
No. Yeah, I forgot them.
Or you do what I do. All right, I want
my
this one
superpower.
smart but weak. I want this one strong but dumb. Strong but dumb. Strong but dumb.
Hang on. Give me a monster out of that book, Max.
Any monster?
Any monster.
Okay, we start. Oh, that's not a
Cool
monster.
one.
Those are animals. Let me get to a. Oh, there we go. What's that? Oh, that's gross. Viper serpent.
Viper serpent stats from Palladium. And that's first edition.
Yeah, I should have gone with the one before, the snaggletooth gobbler. I'm dead serious.
That sounds so sexual.
There it is. Can I turn that? There we go.
What a magnificent name.
Here we go.
Sounds like something.
So all I did was I went to ChatGPT and I said, please please generate a Viper Serpent stats from Play and Fantasy. It gave me the regular, and I said, please restate with all the values rolled, and it went through and rolled them for me.
Okay, tell me what the values it gave you, or just see. I want to see how accurate it is.
IQ 6 plus 4 gave me a 10. ME 5 plus 5 gave me a 10. MA 4 plus 3 gave me a 7. Physical strength 6
That's
plus
weird.
6 plus 6 gives me an 18.
This one actually doesn't give the Viper Serpent here doesn't actually give attributes. Oh, you can't see because it's too small. Let's pick. I would just like to see if it actually does write attributes. So let me find one here.
Give me one that has one.
Where's that lizard mage again? Let me just go back to that one because I saw that. The hell are you? You're gross. Okay, lizard mage. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, just do the lizard mage
Okay, hang
or the
on.
Lugaroo.
Please generate
It's
a
Lugaroo.
wizard mages. Let's spell wizard right.
Thing of the Lugaroo.
That's what I say. And roll and total all the values. And we'll come down. And there we go. So we got 3d6 for the IQ, giving us a 15.
Nope, supposed to be 4d6.
Okay, that's good to know.
I mean, look, to be fair, is it going to break the game? No.
So was it a
Well, it's-
wizard mage or a lizard mage?
Lizard.
Oh, I put wizard. I'm an idiot. Hang on. Jesus, give me a second. Let me redo that properly. My apologies. It just went, here's a wizard and a mage, you idiot.
I like how you're polite with ChatGPT like I am as well.
Well, dude, when they take over, I want them to remember me well.
Right.
No, it's still giving me the 3d6s on the lizard mage.
Yeah, so it should be 3d6, or so it'd be 4d6, 4d6, 3, 4, 3, 4, 2, 4.
Interesting. Okay, so it didn't do that. So I guess it's not useful. Fuck that.
But I mean, it depends on how exacting you really want to be, though. Let's be honest about that.
Okay.
I'm going to depart now because it is
Good night.
way past pumpkin hour. It's 20 to 1 here now. And I've got a rough day tomorrow. So,
Well, you have a good night, sir, and it was a pleasure seeing you.
It's good to see you as always, sir. The
Good job.
cheers. Cheers.
It was fun having you around.
Thank you, everybody.
Fair enough. There we are. Well, anyway, so I mean, look, it's nothing. You drop some dice, you roll a number, you write it up, and away you go, right? Though Violence says attributes are different between first and second edition. And you can't just take the averages of a creature on the fly because many have level ranges, and trying to go back and figure out the bonuses from the stat skills and everything to figure out combat bonus is something to do in advance. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that's both a strength and a weakness of Palladium, depending on who you are. I love the fact that Palladium takes a little bit of time to make the character. It's like you can't just whip it out in 5 minutes, but everything your character can do is on that character sheet. There are very few things you should have to look up. It should just be right there. What is your bonus to strike? What is your bonus to parry?
No.
What is your, you've got this spell. What does it do? That might be a little different, but just it takes the time. Everything is forward loaded or front loaded in Palladium. So even
Okay.
the monsters, yeah. I guess I agree with that, where it's like you're going to want to plan for the monster encounters a little bit, at least have a couple ready in a notebook or something if you want to still be random about it.
When it comes to spell, I encourage index cards.
Hang on.
Squirrel Hermit's still watching. I want to thank him one more time for the super chat. Because that was a big one. That deserves more than one thank you.
Hang on, just answering a question. Boom, 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 boom. Bummer goes to pay for dancing bananas. Okay, thanks, RPG Grandma.
What's with the Bummer Dancing Bananas?
I do not know. Guys, I'm going to kill Ye Old Geeks stream on this one. So if you're on Ye Old Geeks channel and you want to keep up with us, bounce over to one of us, please. Because I'm going to turn it off because I don't want anyone streaming if they're not around to police their own thing, right?